It's the biggest game of the year. Army-Navy for the 114th time coming up on Saturday from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. I'm Rich DeMarco on the Army Football Report. In just a moment, we're going to catch up with Black Knights wide receiver Siobhan Lawrence about the big game. But up first, here are comments from Army head coach Rich Ellerson's news conference previewing the game against the midshipmen.
As a wise man once said, it's Army-Navy, and that says it all. Your questions, please. As you heard us talk about that doesn't necessarily surprise us. We feel like there's some great upside in AJ, and that's why we would make that call at halftime, and certainly that validates some of those expectations we had for him coming out of last spring. You know, these teams are, again, our team and their team. This is the first time we'll face each other. The 2013 teams. Now, there's some guys on their team and on our team that were out there last year, the year before, but this iteration of the 2013 Army-Navy football game is entirely unique. It does, there's no points carryover. Having said that, I would argue that defensively, this is as good or better than any Navy defense we face. They're a really solid outfit. They know their business, and they've got good players. Offensively, I would say it's a solid offensive football team until you throw in, Keenan Reynolds, and then it becomes scary. That guy is a real difference maker. Their controlling their quarterback, because he can make plays with his legs, he makes plays with his arms, he makes plays with what's between his ears. He's a very competent, cool, calm operator. He sees the game very well. He keeps them out of bad plays. He takes care of the football. He distributes it. He's not out there just making plays. He's running their offense and distributing the ball. But clearly, getting him to have a bad game would be a huge thing for us. And when you do that, you're talking about not just how he throws and how he runs, but the decisions he makes. And that's hard to do because, as I say, he sees the game very well. We faced this defense over the years. They'll always have a little bit. They'll adjust to the iterations that we've come up with, the things that we've changed and evolved. They continue to try to keep up with that. So you're paying attention to what the nuances, but they don't get very far away from their base defense when they play us, and that's very typical of people that play defense well against our offenses, is the people that stay close to mama. They don't get too creative in their preparation for the offense. They find the answers within their own systems. And because, as I say, they share the same practice environment with an offense that is fundamentally, strategically very similar to ours, they'll have a well-informed approach. Sometimes folks, will look at what we're doing. It's just different enough and foreign enough to their background that they'll make some mistakes in interpretation. They'll assume some things about us that maybe aren't necessarily accurate. That won't be true on Saturday.
That's Army head coach Rich Ellerson. It's the Black Knights taking on the midshipmen of Navy Saturday afternoon at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Time now to spend a couple of minutes with Black Knights wide receiver Siobhan Lawrence. And Siobhan, for you Army-Navy, there's not too much else you need to say, I'm sure.
No, it isn't. It's ever since prep school, when we lost to those guys, we got a pretty good prep school team. So, it's time to get some payback. 11 straight, so it's time to break that streak.
How does this team feel? You've played really just one game in the last month with all this time off. The trip out to Hawaii did take, of course, several days. How does this team feel?
We're ready. We had a lot of practice. We're actually kind of bored. Just a lot of practice. We know our opponent very well. We know what they like to do. We know their defense. It's just time to go out there and actually play. So we're really excited, ready to go. This team is just really excited about this year.
Well, Siobhan, thanks for a couple of minutes. Best of luck on Saturday against the midshipmen.
Thank you.
That's Army wide receiver Siobhan Lawrence. It's Army and Navy for the 114th time. Kickoff just after 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. With the Army Football Report for Night Vision, I'm Rich DeMarco.